Well, greetings from Maracay, Venezuela. It's a blessing to address you today. There'll be a lot of animal noises today, or crows, or roosters, dogs, but I'm just going to go ahead and record this. Usually when I'm preaching, I will work around those type of noises. But I want to speak to you in English on the situation in Venezuela. Sometimes I use, a lot of times we, but Barbara, she went the first of the year to the United States, to do our medical checkup and set up our furlough. And then I was to go out in March, but before I could get out, they locked down the airports. And that has been the dilemma that's kind of caused all these problems. And so we want to go over some of these problems and situation. First, I want to say thank you to all those that have helped and reached out and sent nice notes and emails and on Facebook. We appreciate you. We really do. And some people have contacted senators, the State Department, and National Security people, and they all refer to they will contact the embassy, our embassy for Venezuela. It's located in Bogota, Colombia. James Story is our great ambassador there, and he'll say, or they will say, look on the website. The website says prepare for an indefinite stay. I am not prepared for an indefinite stay. I'm prepared for a long stay, but we'll talk about that. And so some of the senators contact me, etc. That does not work in my situation. I'm going to share a letter. A great pastor who's was pastoring in Vermont, Brother Patterson, he reached out to his senator and asked him for some help. And so I'm going to share now this letter from Bernie Sanders, the senator. And so it says, Dear Mr. Patterson, thank you for contacting me regarding to the political situation in Venezuela and the reported blocking of 800 U.S. citizens to leave the country. Now there's an A there. When I copied the email, because I want to have it with a date, because I didn't put a date on their letter, that appeared there. I don't know why. According to the State Department officials, so they checked with the State Department, the Venezuelan government has denied exit to 800 U.S. citizens from their country. And it's type of a hostage situation. There was a report by a Venezuelan reporter that referred to us as hostages. Now, we're not locked up or nothing like that. I don't know who the other 799 people are, but we are very limited on our movement. We cannot leave the country, and months and months and months have gone by. And so anyway, there's the situation from Mr. Bernie Sanders, and it's been not just him, but the other senators basically have said much of the same. Then they were basically referred back to the website of the embassy for Venezuela, and so that's the situation. In other words, they cannot do anything. They cannot do anything, and all I'm asking and requesting is prayers, and prayers that the Lord will work all this out. And so we want to thank y'all for praying, support, for active concern, and we certainly appreciate it. I also want to refer to the letter I sent out in August. It was an urgent request there, and it kind of giving the information about our situation. Because every month around the 12th, they will announce if the airports are going to be locked up and are opened up. And so they had some humanitarian flights scheduled, and then around the 12th, the government would say the airports will continue to be locked down. And so I'm going to go over that. Number one, it says I was overdue for furlough, and I am. And as Teresa and Barbara went in, and we got separated because the airport's locked down before I could get out. And I use the word we all the time because we're one, amen? Even though we're not right here together, we do communicate many times a day. And another problem is cash. I was running out of cash, money, because every year Barbara has to go out and do her medical checkup for her heart, and she would bring cash, and that's one of the ways that we would be able to do our business, because you could not transfer money from outside the country to here. And so the money's kind of gone up, but the Lord's worked that out. We've got some businessmen, they're not Christians, but the Lord opened up 2 or 3 places, and we were able to solve that problem. And so another problem is cash. Here is a 500 bill, and I'll take a picture of that so you can see it better. And you need not 500, but you need 500,000 of believers for it to equal $1. Yeah, and so they don't make any more bills, and it makes the situation difficult because a lot of times you have to have the socialist card to buy stuff or to buy gas and a lot of other things. If you don't have that, well, then you can't to buy or sell if you don't have their number and their mark. And so, but I'm not complaining, amen. I'm content in the situation I am. To get gas, you have to wait sometimes a week in line. And then sometimes you got to have that card or a fingerprint to prove who you are and that you're registered to get that gas. But anyway, that's kind of our situation. And I just believe that according to the news I read by a reporter, that yes, the Americans are a type of a hostage. They're not locked up or anything of that nature, but they're confined. You cannot go from state to state. They have the roads blocked because of the China virus 19. And you can't go from one end of the city to the other. There's usually 2 or 3 roadblocks. Sometimes you can't even go. They have the militia out there. To go to the Colombian border, there's over 30 roadblocks between here and there. And, of course, you couldn't go state to state to start with. But all the country areas are shut down. The borders are shut down. And the embassy on their website, and I get messages from them, they say, do not cross the border. Now, one guy told me, he's a journalist from around the Bristol, Virginia area. He says, well, you could pay $4,000 and they'll get you across. Well, that's gringo. That's a gringo money. I already can get across, and I can get across for $30. And that's a veteran missionary price. Amen. But you run a super, super high risk if you can get there. And I know I can get to the border, being a veteran missionary. But you run too high of a risk at this time for being kidnapped, and then they want more, they want money, etc. Of course, the Brazilian border, you've got to get to Brazil, and that's about a 3-day trip if you drove 3 days straight through. But where are you going to get your gas? The border's closed. Somebody says, go to Guayana. Well, before I can get to Guayana, I'm going to have to be in the jungle trip. Then when I get to Guayana, I got to go through the jungle there. That's disputed territory by both of these countries, and so it's complicated there. Somebody says, go to Trinidad, and get a boat and go there. Well, I've got a church in Cumaná, not too far from there. But I already know that the mafia groups that's run by young gangs that are supported by this government, they control the waters there, and we call them pirates. And plus, the Trinidad people have pirates. And a lot of Venezuelans who try to cross, because Venezuelans tries to get out also, have been raped, have been killed, robbed, and locked up. And so that's the way it is. It's a lot more. I'm not going to go into no details. I contacted a missionary in Aruba, which is one of the most easiest ways out, and Curacao, but he advised not to because of the pirate situations and some other details. But he said that was a no-no. And so, but I'm still analyzing all these options and praying that God will work out this airport will be opened up. That would be an answer of prayer. Amen. Now, my prayer letter has just gone out, so you'll be seeing that, and I'm picking back up on the positives. I won't be talking a lot more about this situation until I get home. But I wanted to share this visually, verbally with you at this time. But we are in a church plant. God's opened up a special door, and also moving the radio station, and it's 24/7 right now in Maracay, which is unusual because most of the stations are closed if they're not affiliated with the government, I guess I would say. And I'm real nervous about saying some things while I'm still here because, like I mentioned, that reporter from the Bristol area, Marion, I believe, was locked up because they heard him say something, and he was deported, which I would love to be deported. That would be a good thing. But they wouldn't deport me, they would put me in the jail. One guy, missionary with with a sect type of a group. He was locked up for 2 years till a senator come and got him out. Now we had that ex-governor come down here trying to get some Green Beret and some other Americans out of jail and to fly them home. And I requested, since he didn't carry anybody out and I knew he wouldn't, maybe there would be a seat I could ride on that I would pay for. I didn't ever hear from them. So I know how that is. That missionaries, we're on our own and there's no complaining because God's in control. We're on our own in relation to the government, but we have He who is in charge of everything. Every day, every minute, every situation, God is in control and He has a purpose. And that's why I am an agent. I am a disciple of Jesus Christ. And He's in charge, and it's my job to do what I'm supposed to do. And I want you, and I request of you, to please pray that Lord would work it out. My request is to be able to do my furlough. Amen. Amen. God bless each and every one of you.